Hi guys, welcome back to Highland Homemade Crafts. I'll just pull you a bit closer as usual. Right, so today I am going to be doing something a little different. Important people of my sisters got married recently and I've been wanting to do them a wedding gift, and I've been umming and ahhing about what to give them, and I decided that I wanted to give them something that I have personally made. So I got this mould a little while ago and I've not used it yet. I am going to put some EcoPour in this because of how intricate the details are, and because, well, I think it'll show up better when I put them in this. So I'm hoping that this fits in here. I've not tested it yet, so this is also a good test for me, but I'm hoping it does fit in there because I think it'll look beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna mix some EcoPour up for this. We're gonna let it cure and then we're gonna put this into this and make these as well. This is the stand that this sits on, and it's like a crystal ball type thing. But yeah, I'm gonna be putting this inside it and making it all pretty, just to give them a keepsake for their wedding day. So yeah, let me go and mix up some resin, EcoPour, and we'll get on with this. So be right back. Got 100 grams of the EcoPour in here. Sorry, no, 102, sorry. And I've got 32 grams of water. So I'm just going to give it a really good stir. So it needs to be the consistency of, or what I've heard anyway, it's supposed to be the consistency of icing or pancake mix. I have weighed this out, obviously, because I've just told you the weights. You can't mix it for too long, because if you do, it might end up curing in your cup. Right, so I'm gonna pour this really carefully. There's some glitter in my mould, of course there is. Make sure there's nothing in it. I'm just gonna pour this really carefully because I don't really want to overfill it. I don't need that overage. So I'm just gonna put a bit in there. I think that's about it. That's good right there. Okay, I'm just gonna get something soft to poke it with because I don't want any bubbles either. And that's pretty full, so I don't want to be chucking it around it either. My goodness. Right, that's a bit too full, I think. See, there's some bubbles coming up there right now. Okay, right, I'm just going to take a bit off of there because that's way too full now. Like I said, you don't want to be filling these too much, especially things as intricate as this, because it's a nightmare. Right, that'll do. Let me just wipe up the excess there. Oh, there's probably still going to be a bit of overage, but at least I'm not dealing with a lot of overage, because when that heat light hardens up really hard, it is pretty solid, so I want to get it as clean as possible if I can. Okay, I'm just going to take another one of these and just give that a clean there. Right, I do have some extra, so I don't know what to do in, but hopefully I've got enough for this teddy bear here. I've never done this teddy bear in EcoPour before, so this is going to be interesting. Got a load of cat hairs in there. Okay. So I'm just going to pour a bit in at first, give his ears a squish, and give everything a squish. Have I got enough? I think I might just have the right amount. I do have some scrappies that I can use to bulk it up a bit. Let's see if that'll do it. It's still not quite there. Let's see if I've got any more. Add a little liquidy bit. I'm just going to use this for now though. I'm just going to softly just press that down. I think I might have too much of this in here now. Doesn't want to sink in. There we go, it's getting there. Right, so that's not completely full to the top still, but I think it's good enough. It's just not going to have as deep a feet as what it usually does. Right, so just look all those bubbles coming up there. I'm going to give this a good tap. I can do this with this one because it's not full to the top, so... Okay, that's that. So I'm going to let that dry, and yeah, I'll be back to demold it in a bit. Right, I'll see you in a bit, guys. Guys, welcome back. I'm really sorry. I got a bit overexcited and I demolded this off camera. I did do some sanding on it and it's looking really good. I didn't demold the bear though. Waited until I was back on camera for that. But I just wanted to make sure that this was going to come out okay, because this is for somebody, so I want to make sure it's really like it's all okay sort of thing. But it's come out beautiful. There are a few bubbles in places, but they're not as bad as what they could have been. I'm just giving them all a good sanding so that any bubbles can disappear then. But it's honestly beautiful. I mean, that came out just as I wanted it to. Now, the big question is it going to fit in here? I think it might, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not entirely convinced either, because it is quite tall. So, don't think it's going to fit, which is a shame, because it really does look pretty in there. The only thing I could probably do is maybe cut like a little bit off of the bottom, but that's just going to ruin the whole thing. So my plan B is maybe putting this on top like that of the sphere or something, or maybe put it in front of it like that. I think that would look nice actually, being in front of it like that. So I'll maybe figure out what to put in here now. Obviously I'm going to need to change my plan, but before that, let's get this guy demolded, and hopefully, with any luck, it'll come out in one piece. There's quite a lot of overage because I did give it a good bit of welly when I was trying to get all the bubbles out. I'm just a bit scared of the head, because the head's always the problem. And I'm a bit worried that I'm going to take his head off. It's come out okay so far. I really am worried about those ears. Gosh, it came out beautifully. That's amazing. Just shows you that maybe sometimes just giving it a measure makes it a lot stronger. I mean, there is a bit of a lip on the bottom, but that's to be expected because I didn't fill it up all the way. But yeah, it's turned out wonderfully. I'm glad I tested that out, because who knows, maybe I can make a few bears for my keepsakes that I'm making out of EcoPour. But yeah, it came out really nice. I do prefer the resin, I've got to admit, because look how shiny that is compared to that. But this was a good test piece, definitely. Right, and let me figure out what I'm going to do with this, and as always I'll put you on a bit of a fast forward. I will be using all-purpose Apex resin for this particular project. I'm just collecting all the itty bits, and I will be colouring this in as well somehow. Don't know whether I'll use pens yet, or I do have some acrylic paints now. So yeah, give me just 2 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, so here I mixed up about 400 millilitres of resin, and I did use my all-purpose Apex resin. Now, this is one of the reasons why you should probably look at the bottle and see, or even the instructions, and see how deep this resin is allowed to go. It didn't exactly fully flash cure. It wasn't what's the word? It wasn't bubbling. But it did sort of flash cure because it got really hot really quickly in the sphere mould, and I ended up with a lot of bubbles at the bottom. But lesson learned, I need to use deep pour for this particular mould, and I did get some deep pour eventually. But what I'm going to be doing here is, what I want to do, I've seen a load of these sphere moulds that are almost like amethyst sort of looking colours and textures and stuff inside it. So that's the type of texture I was going for, sort of thing. So what I did was I got some little cups and I mixed up 3 colours. I mixed up a white, sorry, not a white, no, I didn't mix up a white. I mixed up a green and white, which turned it a minty colour, because that is what, I'm getting ahead of myself here, aren't I? I did put clear resin into the sphere first, and then I put the resin in the cups. So I've got the green and white out there. I was trying to make a minty green colour, because I wasn't at the wedding, so I didn't know what the colour scheme was, but from the looks of it, mint green was one of the colours that was used. So I'm just trying to make a minty green in that mica powder, and here I'm going to put some interference green in as well, just to give it a shimmer. And mostly it did work, this technique, but because the mica powder is heavy, some of it did sink to the bottom of it, well, the top of it, I suppose. So all I did was I got my stirring stick, or sticks in this case, and each colour I just plunged. I got a good amount on my stirring stick, and I just plunged it into the sphere mould, and just swirled the colour around basically. Here we go. This is what I did. And I did that with all of them. And it gave quite a lovely texture inside, and it was the texture that I was going for. So like I said, the only problem was, first of all, it flash cured, so we had loads of bubbles at the bottom, and second of all, it all sank a little bit to the bottom. So I'm gonna try, it's probably gonna be a short, or I'll add it onto this video later on, but I'm gonna try deep pour, and I'm gonna try putting a load of glue inside it, because as far as I know, that's not been done before with deep pour resin. But because deep pour resin is such a lower viscosity resin, I am going to have to put like quite a lot of glue in there to stop it, to keep it suspended, and I don't even know if that's going to work with the bubbles either. So I do want to test it, and I want to see what happens. The same one with the stand. I did want like a almost amethyst sort of style look. I suppose a marbled look almost. But again, it all sank to the bottom, unfortunately, because of how heavy it is. So again, I don't know whether I would do this in resin again or EcoPour. I do need to think about it, but yeah, it didn't really come out the way I wanted it to, so I might try this again as well. But all in all, the sphere did actually do what I wanted it to do. It's just those two things that went wrong with it, really. You'll see at the end, it's really pretty, but I didn't quite fill it up enough for a start, and it flash cured a little bit, and the last thing was the mica powder and stuff sank. So other than that though, it turned out really pretty, really did, and the bride and groom turned out really pretty as well. I do use acrylic pens on those guys, so yeah, it all turned out not perfect, but it did do what I wanted it to. So while I just finish off, I'm gonna put a bit of music on, and yeah, I'll see you for demold. Hi guys, welcome back. So, excuse me. These have all cured up. I did a little work on the bear. I still need to sand the bottom of it. And I also just did a few more things off camera to the bride and groom. So, let's get to this. I'm already seeing bubbles in there. So, I didn't think about poking my stick through there if I'm honest. So I'm just gonna lift these out carefully. So yeah, there's a big massive bubble there. So I'll just fix that with UV resin, it's not a problem, but I really wish there wasn't any bubbles at all in these. Stuck in there quite, there we go. Yeah, another bubble there. But they might still go into each other even if there is bubbles. Gosh, so everything did sink. I quite like these ones better. So they are supposed to go in almost, let me just get it right here. That. So that's how it's supposed to go. And then this, once I've got it out, oh, overspilt. I'm going to have to do this off camera, guys, because this is going to be very hard to demold, but just bear with me. Now, unfortunately with this, I didn't think about it either. You see all those micro bubbles on the bottom? It did sort of, not complete. Yeah, it did sort of flash cure on me, so there's like hundreds and hundreds of micro bubbles on there. But that's okay, because at least I've tested it out, and all the mica powder and stuff sunk as well. So what I'm going to do is, probably off camera, but I'll show you what the end result's going to look like once I've done another one. I'm going to get some deep pour resin, and I'm going to pour this again differently. I won't do that on camera, and I didn't fill it up quite enough either, so I've got a flat bottom now. So yeah, so I'll show you how it's going to get put together. So that's going to go on there like that, and then this is going to get stuck on like that, almost, somehow. Let me bring you down, you'll be able to see it better. Oh, sorry about my hand being in the way there. So that's basically what my vision's going to be. And if I'm honest, that looks absolutely beautiful. So I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, and I'm sorry about the noise in the background. My little boy is shouting me, so I'm just going to make this a quick exit. I just want to say thank you to all my subscribers, hello to all my new subscribers, and I appreciate all the support you're giving me by liking, commenting, sharing my videos, and everything else. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, I'll get some glamour shots of what it's going to look like, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now, guys.
Let's go into my Highland fells and look in my book of spells, creating wonders in my domain. The resin is calling my name. Ooh. Somewhere in my box of molds there's a beauty that will unfold, creating magic with this liquid gold, and I wonder what will demold. Let my head be full of voices sing